Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Trouble Forge. So it is a rainy, dreary Saturday here. It's supposed to rain for the next like 3 or 4 days. So we are doing a little bit of a different food preservation project than normal today. We're kind of out of heavy canning season. So I have a few things lingering in the freezer that I need to deal with. I'll be doing beans and meat over the winter as I typically do. So I'll be bringing you those things as we get to them. But today we are going to be using the smoker. So our friend Chris let us borrow his smoker. Goals: one day we'll build ourselves our own smoker. We actually have an old commercial fridge freezer that we drug with us from the old house that we are hoping to convert into a smoker. So it's not a like super important goal. We'll get there, but that's something that we'd like to do at some point, to be able to like cold smoke cheese and smoke meats and things like that. But for now, Chris let us borrow his trailer. This is going to be a huge blessing. So we went to, speaking of blessings, we went to Blessings of Hope yesterday, which is in Lancaster. I'll be doing a video. I don't know if it'll be out before or after this, but I'll link it regardless, and show you what I got at Blessings of Hope and talk a little bit more about that. I think I have a video up about it when we went a time before. It's a really awesome way to get some cheap food. So you can shop there for 60 cents a pound after you put in a little volunteer time. I'll link their website in the description too, so that you can see what that's all about. If you have questions, let me know. Anyway, I got a bunch of stuff there yesterday. Namely, we got bacon. I got probably 60 pounds of bacon. I got 20 or 30 pounds of strawberries, and they needed to go in the freezer. So, fortunately, we had already coordinated with Chris to bring the smoker home. He lives down where we used to live, so about 2 hours south of here. Zad brought it home after he worked the Hot Air Balloon Festival last week. We brought home charcoal. We got the blocks of wood for smoking and all of that. So, the goal today is that I have probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 birds or pieces of birds or whatever from the last time that we raised chickens and turkeys. Some of it might be from last year too. I don't really remember. Nonetheless, whole birds take up so much space in the freezer. So it was taking up I have two fridges in our extended pantry that are like a stand-up or side by side, I guess you'd call it, like fridge on one side, freezer on the other. So the freezer sides were both full of whole birds, and whole birds take up so much space. I hate keeping bones in the freezer very long. I like to get them out and make them into broth because they just take up so much freezer space. But whole birds, especially whole turkeys in particular, take up so much room. The last round of turkeys we did not get super big, which was partially my fault because we were moving and whatever, but whatever. We got them butchered. We'll get some meat off of them. It'll be fine. But the goal today is to get those out of the freezer. So last night, when we got home from my parents, we had gone to Blessings of Hope while we were down there. I pulled out all the whole chickens and turkeys out of the freezers and I thawed them. So what we're going to do today is we're going to smoke them. They need to smoke 8, 10, 12-ish hours, something like that. We're going to tear all the meat off of them, get them into vacuum seal bags, and drop them back in the freezer. Obviously, once we pull the meat off, they're going to take up a significantly less amount of space than when they were on the bone. And then I'll see how many bones I have. I'm definitely going to do 2 roasters worth of broth from the bones. If I have more bones than that, I don't know. I'll have to make a decision about what I'm going to do with that. So I'll have a video about how to do the broth. It's going to be amazing. We've done broth before from smoked meat, and it is so good. So I'll definitely link that below. And you don't have to do your broth from smoked meat, obviously. You can do it from a roasted bird or baked or whatever you do. But I'll show you how to do that. So today we're kind of going to walk through how to, my glasses keep falling down because it's raining, how to smoke the meat. Obviously there's all kinds of smokers out there. We have a much smaller smoker that's like just the small stand-up kind, but we'd probably only be able to do maybe 2 turkeys or like 4 chickens on it. So this is a huge blessing to be able to borrow this. So I'm gonna walk you through that process, kind of show you how we're gonna preserve this. It's already preserved, obviously, in the freezer, but I need that freezer space. So this is gonna be a perfect way to get it out of the freezer, kind of condense it, get another product off of it with the broth, and then it's gonna be so much more usable because I don't have time to cook a whole turkey. Like, I don't wanna go to the freezer trying to plan dinner and have to pull out a whole turkey. I wanna pull out a bag of already shredded, ready to go meat that I can just add to a meal. So we're going to talk about that today. All right, so we're going to do step 1. I'm not going to give you like a total play-by-play of what's happening with the smoker, but we'll give you just a general idea of how this works, and then I'm more so showing you this so that you can see that there's other ways to preserve your meat. So Zad's going to tell you about what step 1 is.
So we have chimneys here. They're gonna get newspaper stuffed in the bottom. It's gonna get lit. They're gonna be full of charcoal, which will get the charcoal going. Once the charcoal's going, we'll put it into the hot box, the fire box of the smoker, and then we'll throw a couple chunks of mesquite or hickory on there just to get the heat up and get the smoker up to temp. Once it's around 225, that's when we actually put the birds on. But till then, it's just a sit and wait until it gets hot enough.
And we're gonna actually smoke them with apple or pecan, right? Because these hickory and mesquites will be too powerful.
It's too smoky for poultry.
Yeah. So we're gonna use, I think we have apple and pecan, I think, for birds. So since we're doing chicken and turkey, if we were doing like beef or something, we would do hickory or mesquite. So that's gonna be step one. So we have a little bit of a waiting time. And while it's not raining, I'm gonna go do the animals.
So I got all the birds pulled out. Unfortunately, some of them were still frozen, so I put them on the hot ends. So the two ends on either side are your hot spots. The center is more of your cooler zone. So all the full birds are on the bottom. All the legs, breast, wings, thighs, turkey necks are all on the top. Turkey necks are in the center. And I seasoned them. This time we used Yardbird.
So we got this
by
from
Plowboys.
Yeah, we got this from Lancaster Barbecue Company, or Lancaster Barbecue Supply. It's called. Do you want to show them what's happening over here in this?
Meadow Creek seasoning.
Yeah, normally we use Meadow Creek. My dad got this for us. We thought we would try it. So we got our charcoal, our wood, and our seasoning from Lancaster Barbecue Supply.
So this is a warming box. So like, if you're doing a catering type of deal, or you're pulling stuff off that's done, but you need to keep it warm, you can put it in the top box here. This is the warming box. And this will be quick because I don't want to lose my heat, but that's our firebox. That's where the charcoal and our smoking wood is. We're using pecan and apple wood. I'll just keep loading that with wood as needed. Our ideal temp is going to be around 250. Right now it's like 175, but we just opened both those boxes up. So now it's a babysit pretty much the rest of the night.
So how long have these been on? Like,
We put them on at 6, and it's 10, almost 10:30 now.
so they've been on like 4.5 hours. What are we shooting for?
165, 170. So that's 160 there.
You want 165?
65.
So Zad's just checking the temperature of these. It's pretty late, you know, this will be like canning. We'll be running into the night, but he's just out here with a thermometer and just seeing where everything's at. All right, so the ones that are on top, it's a lot of the smaller pieces because some of the birds, what?
Like ones that are halved.
Yeah, halved and stuff. Those are done. So Zad's gonna put those in the warming box for now. The turkeys aren't quite. Yeah, the turkey necks. The turkeys aren't quite up to temp yet, so we're gonna let this keep going. All right, so it's next day, another rainy day. We let them sit in the warming box for, I say overnight, but we weren't really done with this project until like 4 o'clock, and it's just the next morning, so whatever, it's fine. So Zad is pulling all of them out. We're gonna get all the meat pulled off and figure out how many bones we have and do some broth and get them into bags so we can put them in the freezer. All right, so we got our table set up in here. Zad put it up on stilts so it's pretty close to the height of the counter. I got my roasting pan here so I can start broth. I'll do a separate video on how to do broth. It's super easy and it's so, seriously, you get broth for literally almost free. We have a big bowl here that we're gonna put our good pieces in. Anything that's like small or whatever, we'll just throw into a bag. Zad's gonna take some of the bigger chunks and kind of slice it thin, sort of make our own like smoked turkey, like for sandwiches or whatever. So that'll be really cool and really delicious. We'll see how easily some of it slices. Any of the extra skin or whatever, because the skin got kind of dark. Typically, we don't have a problem eating chicken skin or whatever, but it got pretty dark. So we'll just throw it in with our broth and that'll be fine. So that's what we're gonna work on right now. All right, so we're about halfway through. I have a couple more pieces to tear up. This was mostly from legs, wings, and just pieces. So I don't think that's too bad. We have almost a roaster's worth. So I'm thinking what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have 2 roasters, one with the parts from what was pieced out. And then I'll have another roaster that'll have like the full carcasses from the turkeys. Zad's working on slicing some pieces so we can use these for like hot turkey sandwiches or things like that. So like I said, I was thinking I had 20 or 30 birds, but now that I think about it, I sold most of my first round of chickens and I sold a few of the turkeys. So we probably had like 6 turkeys maybe, and then I'm guessing we had the pieces from a few other turkeys and like a few whole chickens. So maybe we only had like, till it was all said and done, 10 or 15, but I still think it was totally worth it to do the smoker because this would have taken forever if we had to do them in the oven or some other way. All right, so I burnt my finger because I couldn't find the oven mitt while I was trying to make granola. Anyway, so we are almost done. He's got 2 birds left. And wouldn't you know, I know you're going to be surprised, I don't know where my vacuum seal bags are. And I might know where the vacuum sealer is. So we're just going to put this in gallon Ziplocs. It'll be fine. We'll just get out as much air as possible. Frankly, I don't think it's going to be around very long anyway. So when we do this in the future, I'm hoping the birds that we're raising now are already bigger than these, and these guys aren't even ready for processing yet. So I'm sure that we'll have a lot more meat come round 2 of meat birds for this year. So we have like 25 chickens and like 8 or so turkeys. Alexa, stop. That'll go to the butcher here in the next, I don't know, month or so. So this isn't bad. We got this bowl's worth of meat from it. It'll be a great addition to the freezer. It's going to be really great. There's going to be like no meal prep. You know, this is just going to be ready to go. We can just pull it out, throw it in a meal, throw it in chili, put it in soup, put barbecue sauce on it, whatever. Like, there's a zillion things that we can do with this shredded meat. I'm sure someone's going to ask, but we did mix the chicken and the turkey because we don't care. So if you do it this way and you want to split it up, you can totally do that. So we're just going to throw this in gallon Ziplocs and put it in the freezer. If you have any questions about this process, we are by no means like experts in smoking meat or anything, but if you have any questions, we probably know the right people to ask. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are enjoying the end of preservation season, and we'll see you next time.